Are we resorting to comedy hour now? Obviously, Gravity, La La Land is reserved for special people that double speak, that say open is closed, closed is open. La La Land, we are in La La Land. Gravity, obviously. La La Land, La La Land, La La Land, we are in La La Land. Gravity, obviously.
Are you ready? Call your mama, call your papa, call your friends. The festivities are about to begin. Boom!
Well, hello. Check, check, check. Radio check, radio check. Uno, dos, tres. Probando. Uno, dos, uno. Yes, I hear you, fan. Yeah, I hear you. It's loud. There you go. Now it's nicer. Well, hello, everybody in YouTube land. We are Jose JG. And this is the Frogs. Squeaky Earth, shout out to you. No warning. Once I shout out Squeaky Earth, I point at it or grab it. Oh, you know it's coming. Love it. Very good. Little globe Earth, medium Earth, other Earth, and the plants around. Where's the sign? It fell somewhere. Come to mess with me? I'm gonna smack you. This is real barbed wires right here. And I got the machete behind the door, just in case. I don't do guns. I like the physicality, you know what I mean? I got this shirt says, row, you're all right. Oh, shout out to the dinosaur rowing a boat. Thank you for being here, everybody. We have in the house Chike in Discord. In YouTube land, we have Charlie Welsh. Oh, Farmer's Boy is also in Discord. In YouTube is Charlie Welsh, Patio Furniture, Fred Bailey, Zeb Tepi, Stefan Mod, Steve Wellzone, The Stingray, RT96. Thank you all for being here. If you're watching this live or recorded, thumbs up is a plus and a must. So make sure to click the like on this video. Check on the links on the description box. There's a PayPal link pinned somewhere over there in the YouTube chat box. Make sure to click on that and give me your money. Also, there's a super chat feature underneath the chat box. that you can use it for question, comment, concerns, just to support the channel. I expect some support today, the way that you guys in YouTube are doing by typing your comments, and the way that Chike and Farmer's Boy is doing in Discord. It is 3:36 p.m. Florida, USA time on May the 19th, 2022, and it is hot in Florida. It says 85 degrees, but it feels hotter than that. What's up?
Hey, how's it going?
All is good. All is good.
How do I sound?
It sounds okay. I mean, I got it up my volume a little bit, but I was listening to YouTube videos, so I gotta listen to a few people and see if we are louder or quieter than others. Sounds good. Sounds clear.
Good, because I've got a new headset today, so I want to see how the microphone sounds. They are so loud, and you're actually in surround sound in my ears, and it's taking some getting used to.
All right, very cool. So it's very strange to hear the R's rolling around.
Yeah, gotta roll your ass.
How was that squeaky heard?
Oh, that did sound very good.
Yeah.
I
Good,
think
good.
these are I think these are gaming headsets, so that with the surround sound, you know, when you're playing a game, you can hear people coming up behind you and stuff like that. It is a little bit odd, but
So you should let me see if you should hear this from the right, and if I click it here, does it sound different? Maybe
yeah, it does sound, yeah, a little. I don't know. I'm not quite sure about
both
that.
sides.
But the main thing is they're just so loud. I've had to turn the volume down to almost nothing.
Chike, get a mic check and see how loud you are.
1 2 1 2.
Oh, you're loud.
I'm loud.
No, you're not loud. Maybe it was my headset that was loud. So Farmer's Boy might have the microphone a little low. Do you got volume in your microphone? Farmers or not?
Let me open up. Let's have a look. Let me crank that. How does that sound now?
The same. Chike, how do you hear us? My voice versus Farmer's Boy. Am I a lot louder than him or?
Yeah, you louder. I wouldn't
Yeah.
say a lot. Yeah, you louder.
Okay, let me turn my mic up. How's that?
Speak up.
The game.
What if I twiddly this here knob?
Oh, this good.
What's monitor? I've got mic in and monitor. What's monitor? Ooh.
Sure. It sounds alright. I mean, it sounds clear. Maybe it depends when
That's the
other
main thing,
people.
as long I just wanted it to sound clear, because I've got various headsets and they all they're all fine when you're listening to them, but the microphones are all shit, it would seem. So I just thought I'd try out some new ones.
Yeah, that's good. I gotta wait until, and if anybody else join, you know, we get one or two more people, and then we'll sort it out. So good. The Stingray said there was a workout going on. What?
Oh, he's having work done on his house, and because he's basically extending the back of his house out and taking out a very large chunk of wall. He's had to replace that with a big bit of steel, an RSJ. And yeah, I can imagine that would have been a good workout because it's a very long, very heavy bit of steel.
All right. Oh, we got the perfect person to come here and check on the levels on the voice. Discord user. Good to see you here again, man. Man or ma'am.
Whoever it is.
Whoever you are. Earth is Live, talking about good microphones. Your microphone is the best. You go probably good today. Depends what device you're using.
No, it's probably because I'm always using Bluetooth headphones. and I'm
This
never
sounds
using my
good today.
PC.
Yeah, this sounds great today.
Yeah, it sounds much better. Yeah, I think it is. I think it is your Bluetooth, and it does quite often sound like you're moving about. And
Yeah, and the signal also, it depends on your connection as you go down the road. It's a tricky one.
Yeah. Let's see. Hold on. Can you hear this?
Yeah, that's
Did you
clear.
hear that? Did you hear that?
I mean, did you play something besides your voice? No, I only heard your voice.
Oh no! I just turned on the truck.
no, didn't hear any of that.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Oh,
Thank you,
John,
Discord user, for the check. Well, breaking news: Zeb Tepi loved thunderstorms just when he is not in them. That is
yes, we
thank you.
we had a bit of a one here last night. Yeah, didn't linger
Yeah,
very
it's
long.
been raining here. It's been raining here for the past 2 days, 3 days,
Yeah, I know.
on and off.
It was too bloody hot in London today. God's teeth, that was unbearable. Well, the tube. Once you actually got outside, there was a bit of a breeze blowing. It wasn't too bad, but on the tube, it was just like, it's 2022. Why don't we have air conditioning fitted to these bloody trains?
2022 air conditioning.
The future is now.
My feet are freezing at 22. What you talking about?
No, the year 2022.
What I
Still, I know the tube is one of the it's the oldest underground in the bloody world, but that's no excuse.
What I'm wondering is why do people insist in using the wrong numbers for like temperature? I'm not talking about kilometers versus miles now, or whatever, something else. But people is using a weird number and calling it Celsius. It should be Fahrenheit. Thank you.
I think you'll find that the rest of the world uses that, and America is the stubborn holdout.
Yeah. You know what I find weird? Like, I've always used Fahrenheit because, of course, I'm American. But when I look at my temperatures on my PC, I always go with Celsius for some reason. For some reason, I feel more comfortable looking at the temperature of my PC in Celsius.
And do you understand that if it's 15 degrees Celsius, what's that in Fahrenheit?
So when I look at I look at the temperature of I say my CPU, it'll say like 30 degrees, 35 degrees, 30 degrees Celsius, and I don't know. That seems normal to me.
Yeah,
when it
but
comes to
what is 15 degrees Celsius in Fahrenheit?
What, 30 degrees Fahrenheit, roughly? I could be wrong. I'm not sure. I'd have to look at it.
I have no idea. I have no idea.
I do,
15 times
Fahrenheit.
1.2 plus 32.
Yeah, just work in Celsius. It's a lot easier. Or Kelvin.
And
It's
who is Kelvin? Who in the hell is Kelvin?
Isn't that for like really, really low temperatures or high temperatures, something like that?
Who is Celsius?
Yeah.
I think Kelvin's last name is Fahrenheit. I think that's where they got the Fahrenheit from.
Actually, the guy who gave us Kelvin, his last name is Thompson.
Shout out to Thompson.
His name isn't actually Kelvin. He was the first Baron Kelvin. That's why it's called Kelvin. His name was William Thompson. But because of that, it's called the Kelvin scale.
And who gave us Celsius?
Now I hear you banging a little bit there, people.
Yeah, I got poles in the back of this truck that are banging back and forth. I'll go on mute.
Yeah, I bought 3 bags of potting soil earlier. I told you guys yesterday. $20. They were more expensive than I thought. It was $5 each. Fucking A. so I can replant a few of these plants, bigger pots, and
Good.
maybe transfer some of those.
What, you can
Celsius,
find
by the
that?
way, was Swedish.
Dude, yeah, in Florida over here where I live is bad dirt. There's the dirt that is like around is sandy. It just doesn't grow. Plants doesn't grow very well. So I will
Right.
use a little bit of the actual dirt that we got here and mix it up with the potting soil. So I'll get a few shovels, in the pot or whatever, shovel, and then a shovel of this, half and half, mix it up. Yeah, it's bad. I don't like it. I don't like it. Where I used to live over there in Hollywood, in the previous in the Hollywood, in Holiday, Florida. It was good soil, good dirt over there. Not here.
Yeah, it does vary depending on where you live.
Yeah, I think most of these mobile home parks, it was just plain terrains or whatever. It was just little, and they just fill it up with like sand, sand, dirt, and shit, and then they build in the top of it.
Yeah, that quite often happens if they're filling in the site, you don't know what old shite they're throwing in there, and that ends up being what you're trying to garden in.
And I
well,
mean, sand is what is more abundant here in all this coastline where I live in. So that's
Yeah.
logic.
where I live, it's all sand. Doesn't seem to bother the weed at all.
Oh, weed is a motherfucker. Weed grows. The grass or whatever, just regular grass and little bad plants. But if I try to plant a good plant, it just doesn't want to grow. Nice flowers or something cool, jasmine and shit like that. It just don't grow. I need good soil for it. Fucking flowers. I gotta figure out how to replant roses because I know roses can be planted. Cut the little stick, and I don't know what to do. Gotta find that out because I got still some flowers from Mother's Day over there. Some roses. I want to try to grow them to replant them.
Yeah, I ain't got a clue about that sort of thing. I'm afraid I'm not.
I don't either, but that's what YouTube and Google is my friend.
Christ, I had to buy a book on gardening. I ain't got a clue.
Yeah, I gotta ask if there's a car pulling up. If that's the old lady from the house. I was walking earlier to the gas station and I saw a longer pipe, like a 4 inches long pipe, and I could use that to put it in along on my garden, and it's like 12 foot long. So if I get that, I drill a few holes along it. I drill like in where the plants are. I can just throw it over there and pull the hose and put it in the end of the pipe. Tilt a little bit and just let it run, and it will plant the plants instead of me going one at a time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Irrigation unit. Yeah.
Nah, it's not her. She's looking for somebody. Who are you looking for? ¿Quién está buscando? Hello. ¿Lote de número? ¿Un número de lote o no?
Bueno,
¿O una persona?
12-300.
Esa es esta dirección. ¿Ya? Oh, pero el número 62 es el que está buscando. Sí, esta es 12300, pero el número 62. Supone que tenga. Este es el 93B. Casi siempre al frente tiene el numerito. No sé exactamente dónde está el número.
747.
Es medio raro, empieza ya el 1, 2, ese creo que es el 2, el blanquito. Después es el 3, va alrededor, pero hay dos callecitas entre medio que como que brinca de lado a lado. So, mire por ahí, no es grande porque entra aquí y sale por allá. Yeah. Si supiera exactamente te decía, pero de verdad no sé. Ok. My dogs all gave my address and shit in Spanish over here. I don't care. Sorry. Oh man. Whoever she's looking for. I had a map of these lot numbers on this. I'm gonna find it. Anybody? Everybody left?
No, we're still here.
Don't scare me. Site plan. Ah, ha, ha. I got it. Let's see. I got it right here, but I don't wanna dox myself.
That's fair.
But I'm gonna save this for when people ask me, you know where this lot number is? I say, yeah. Good times. Saved.
Yeah, I've got a similar thing. There's a website that covers this the county I live in, and you can zoom right in, and it all the detail. And I've done the little A4 printout of this sort of close to the area I live in. And every time I find out the name of one of the neighbours, I write it on there because I can't remember all their bloody names. And I go, oh yeah, who lives at sort of number 14? Oh yeah, right, I got you. Yeah.
Stefan Mudd say, good looking. I say, seems like it, according to your smile. She is good looking, yeah. Really good looking. Spanish. Yeah, the Spanish swagger. Check out Mr. 42's latest community post for another live from Waibing, says Charlie.
Not another one.
I have no idea. Like Gary never lies. We all lie. Gary doesn't.
He's as honest as the day is long.
Yeah. Gary's here. Look at that. Gary, they keep saying that you lie. There's somebody say that they did a post of you lying. That's impossible. Gary, what do you think? Is that possible that somebody pointed at a lie from you? If I get a link, I'll show that. See if that's true or not.
Oh, that was posted in here yesterday a couple of times, I think.
Very quiet in the down low now. People looking and listening now. Take advantage of the opportunity. It is very quiet and mellow over here in this corner of the YouTube. If you are sometimes think I should join and talk to these people, but I don't want to because it's everybody yelling at each other and all the good stuff. This is the time you should join a small group. We will we'll give you the chance to present your case. I like that. So take advantage. If anybody got a link for that, I'll show it.
Earth is Life posted it yesterday.
Yesterday, that's so the 18th of May, man. Today's the 19th.
Well, yeah.
Well, hello, Justin Franks, Stefan Mudd, Peter G, Angry Dog. Angry Dog is always happy. I don't know why the name. Fred Bailey.
There you go. That's what you posted.
So is this in a post? O sea, this is a...
It's two comments that Gary made, and Mr. 42's just sort of lumped them together to sort of highlight, how we can go from one to the other.
But there is a time in between the comments, or is it back to back? Who knows, right?
I know that Mr. 42 says that they're two messages that are 2 days apart.
Okay.
So,
but there's a contradiction in there, yeah. So.
Well, exactly, yes. When he says, I never said the moon was over my head, but in the comment above he says the sun to the moon both over my head. Well, were they over your head or not?
Below
So
or above eye level?
Gary says on the 16th, and I quote, there was no hump in between there was no hump in between. There was a direct line of sight from the sun to the moon, both the sun and the moon over my head. Globe is dead. And then at a later time, he typed, globe is most lie. I never say the moon was over my head. Good grief, you're a moron. So if we take, he never say that the moon was over my head, what do you mean when you say there was a direct line of sight from the sun to the moon, both over my head? So when you say both over my head, are you talking about the sun and the moon, or are you talking about the sun and something else? Because you mentioned the moon being over your head, also the sun, but then you say after that you never say the moon was over your head. Gary, I'm disappointed, man. Was that a mistype and you mean to say that? You have all the time in the world to clarify that. Hopefully, we'll get a clarification, a retraction like, yeah, I made a mistake. I meant to say this and I typed that. So you made a mistake, right? Typing these two comments because you're contradicting. That's what I'm saying. That's a fact.
Seems fair.
Yeah, they made a mistake. The question is in which one, the first one or the second?
Yeah.
You poo-pooed your own argument because now which one is legit if you're contradicting yourself? Poo-pooed. Maybe he was talking about the sun and airplanes, which is also fake. Airplanes are fake.
Are they? Oh.
What I wonder is how does he know there was a line of sight from the moon to the sun?
Good question. Yes, that's a good point.
Guys, in the YouTube chat and in Discord, don't get disappointed if I read any of your comments and I speak it as my own. Don't feel bad about that. But just if you want to feed me lines on what do you think the rebuts could be or comments like colorful commentary, I might grab your comments and read them as my own. In your heart, you know there are your comments, but then for my ego, I'm gonna feel that they are mine. That's so fucked up. Yeah, that'd be fun.
Oh dear.
Stuff. Hashtag Gary Civil War. Gary is fighting. Boom.
Civil War. I like that song. That's a good one.
I came up with that my own.
Okay, you ready for the explanation?
Yes, please. Farmers, quiet. Shy, quiet. Jose, quiet. Go ahead.
This is like one of those situations where if you don't specify that a flat Earth has mountains, guys like Mr. 42 will say, "Oh, it can't be flat; it has mountains." Okay. What I meant by over my head is that on my west coast and my east horizon, I have mountain ranges on both sides. The sun was over the mountains, just over the mountains in the west, getting ready to set. The moon was just over the mountains in the east, getting ready to rise, or just rising. It just rose. And so they're theoretically that this is what I meant by overhead. They're over my head. They're higher than me because the mountains are also higher than me, right? Mountaintops. So both the sun and the moon were over my head, but that's completely different than the word overhead. Overhead is one word, and that means directly overhead. They were over my head. I could see them from my east horizon to my west horizon, over the mountains on both sides, and you could draw a line across the sky from one to the other with nothing in between them to block them. That's what's meant. But of course, Mr. 42 is too dumb to understand, or he knew what he was doing and he was just being an ass.
Let me
probably pick the second one.
quick clarification. Hold on, Chike. Yeah, Chike, hold on. I know you want to say something. But in both comments, you didn't type overhead in one and over my head in another one. In both comments, you typed over my head.
Yes, over my head. The mountains are higher than me. The sun was above the western. The moon was above the eastern. They're both over my head. The mountains are higher than me. They're higher than the mountains. That's over my head. And I could see them. higher than me on both sides, you could draw a line from one to the other in the sky.
You want me to read this?
One word, which means directly overhead, like a sub-solar or sub-lunar, which I never said. And in all my arguments, let me finish, because you're being an ass just like the rest of the guys. They just completely either totally just made a big deal over nothing because they wanted to, or they're stupid. I don't know which one.
There's no mountains
mentioned here. Or they're dumb. That's the two choices.
There's no mountains mentioned in this comment, and I want to quote this.
I didn't have to. He took one quote out of the argument.
I want to quote this comment. Unquote, open the quote. There was no hump in between. There was, gonna start, and I start the quote. There was no hump in between. There was a direct line of sight from the sun to the moon, both over my head. Globe is dead. Unquote.
Yes, because they're both above the mountains on the west and the east, higher than me, which is over my head, and there's nothing in between them. You can draw a straight line across the sky from one to the other. There's no hump of earth in between them. This is very simple. I don't know why you guys are that dumb.
The second comment
is dumb, but I haven't realized how dumb you guys actually are.
Hey, the second comment is a lot shorter, and I want to quote. I want to read it. And I quote, this is Gary Webenga. Quote, open the quote. Globis must lie. I never say the moon was over my head. Good grief, you are a moron. Unquote.
I never said it was overhead, like as in I'm at the sub-lunar point or the sub-solar point. Never said overhead, which is one word. But they're
over my head. You say over my head.
I draw a line at an elevated angle to my west and to my east. Elevated angle that ends up over my head to them, and you could draw a line straight across because there was no big hump or earth in between them.
So the sun and the moon over your head, the sun and the moon were both over your head?
Okay, screw you. You're being an ass right now.
Gary, it's a simple question. Was the sun and the moon over your head?
I've explained it to you 3 straight times, and you still don't get it, so that means you're dumb.
But you're trying to explain me something, and with a quick answer, then I will understand your previous explanation.
I gave you a quick answer 3 straight times. What do you not get?
A one-word answer is going to be either 3 letters or 2 letters. It's a yes or no.
What am I going to say? How can I answer that in one word, Jose? Tell me how I can do that.
Well, the question is, was the sun and the moon over your head?
They were not overhead, but they were over my head.
That was the question. So was the sun and the moon over your head?
It was not overhead. That's one word. It's
I didn't
one word.
Overhead.
Not 2 words.
I'm sorry. Objection. I didn't ask.
My head.
I
could be standing over by a house somewhere and say, "Oh, that roof is over my head."
Yes, that's my question. Was the sun and the moon over your head?
Oh, man.
All right. So you're answering another question. I'm going to ask you the question that you want to answer. You want me to ask you this question? Was the sun and the moon overhead? Gary?
No, they were over. They were higher than me.
Different question. That's no. The sun was not. The sun and the moon was not overhead. Perfect. Now I'm going to ask a different question. Now I will ask a different question.
Or you're just being stupid.
Gary, I ask you one specific question. You answer very quickly, but you don't want to answer this one quickly. Also, the question is, Gary? The question is, was the sun and the moon over your head? This time I'm not asking if the sun and the moon is overhead. The question is the sun and the moon over your head? That is the question. Can you answer that?
They were not lunar solar point overhead, which is inward.
So they were over your head. So they were over your head, right?
Like the trees, they have a higher elevation than my head, so they're over my head, but they're not overhead.
So they were over your head, right?
Oh my God! No, they were on the horizon.
You say they were not overhead, but they were over your head, right? Or were they not over your head, but they are overhead? Or are they not overhead, nor over your head? I need to know these 2 different, paradigms that we got going on here, Gary.
And you took quotes out of context. They didn't get the best of the conversation. Because
we just in the first comment. I don't care about the second comment. We're just talking about the first comment only.
Over the horizon, it was very clear. And
just the first comment. I'm gonna take the second comment off there because I think the second comment is confusing us a little bit, Gary. All
Globe
right,
is
I'm
flat.
gonna reshare my screen. I'm gonna post a commenting here, and I got one question for Gary. Gary, was the sun and the moon over your head? Oh, he left. Damn. Before he could answer the
Positive.
question.
He know he's fucked.
So he's desperately trying to
Let me play.
redefine what
Let me
overhead
play.
means.
Let me play honest Gary. Ask me the question. Ask all the question you asked him.
What were the sun and the moon over your head?
Yes.
So they were overhead then.
No. Very simple. So yes or no.
I mean, was the sun and the moon overhead? And he answered quickly, no, it wasn't overhead. But when I asked him, was the sun and the moon over your head? He never answered that question. He's I don't know for what, for why. I mean, I don't know why.
Oh,
I'm
you know
sorry,
why.
but there is a general understanding when you say something is over your head, that doesn't mean, oh, it's actually higher in elevation than my head. Well, of course it fucking is. So with the mountains. Doesn't mean to say it's over your head. That's just ridiculous.
No.
So
Doesn't mean to say overhead.
if he was trying to clear his name for some reason, I mean, he just was unable to do it. He just rage quit. It's so simple. The point, it was so simple. He could say a yes or no, and then I could be giving all the time in the world to explain. He attempted to explain it first, but I really couldn't catch an answer. He squirmed out of that explanation by not answering that simple question: was the sun over his head? The sun and the moon. He just didn't answer.
It's like me. If I look out my window now at the house across the way, the roof is higher than my head. But I'm not for a fucking second going to say that roof is over my head, because it isn't. Just because it's slightly higher than me doesn't mean to say it's over my head. That's bollocks. I'm sorry, that's not how the English language works.
That's okay. The question is, did he say the word over my head the first time, or didn't he, as he claimed, the second time?
Yes, the first time he said it was. He said they were over his head.
The
Now
second
that's
time he
meaning
says,
overhead.
no, don't need to mean anything. And the second time he said it wasn't over his head, not overhead, but over his head. The same words twice.
Exactly. He could say simply, I made a mistake. I meant to say in this comment this thing, in this other comment this thing. That's it. Everybody makes mistakes, but
In the
fucking
first
A.
comment, he says the sun to the moon, both over my head. Then in the second comment, he says, I never said the moon was over my head. Yes, you did.
I mean, he didn't say the moon was over his head. He said the sun and the moon were over his head. Not only the moon, but the sun also.
Yeah. But don't forget at the same time that he says the Senilinian eclipse is impossible on the globe Earth. So, whereas of course it's actually impossible on the flat Earth.
Yeah,
But
he also said that because the mountains are higher than him,
they're over his head.
then, right, it's over his head, which I tend to disagree.
Well, yeah. Just because it's
Well,
higher than you. doesn't mean to say it's
Then
over
we
your
could
head.
have then we could have a good argument. Why do we agree or disagree? But he never clarified his point. That's what blows my mind there.
Well, he was actually doing a brine to his microphone, I think, because he was getting very, very loud and his microphone was having none of it.
yeah.
Yeah, and I couldn't just let him rant and rant and rant. I mean, I really needed clarification, which he was unable to give us.
Yeah.
Oh, he was able. He just
Sorry,
knew he
guys.
fucked up.
Sorry to the audience. I mean, if you wanted to hear him rant, I also wanted to hear him rant and stay here, but I mean, it was simple.
No,
I think what made everything possible, what made that interaction possible, was Nibiru.
Are you sure?
Yes, as is Lemony and Brian too.
Maybe he got touched by his noodly appendage.
Where's Mr. 42? Mr. 42, you could join Discord for a minute. Tell us why do you think that there was necessary to point at, and I understand why now.
Yeah, he said a thing and then he denied saying that thing.
Well, we all know that the sun is 6 foot in height, at least.
I should hope so too. It was a damn sight higher than that today. Because I was a damn sight higher than that.
I'm back for a little bit, gentlemen.
What up? You missed Gary, man.
Did I?
Yeah, he rage quit.
Oh, did he call someone a liar and
Well,
leave?
Jose was interrogating him about the two posts that Mr. 42 put up where he said, "Oh, the sun and the moon are over his head," and then he said, "No, I never said that.
Yeah.
I never said the moon was over my head." You know, it's like, well, there it is.
We got a cowbell going. Give it a few seconds there.
I haven't.
There you go. Shout out to John Rapp for $2 Australian. John Rapp. Gary rage quit into the vanishing zone. Shout out to John Rapp. It must have gone into the squishing in between fingers, mushy, fat fingers, rubber bands, vanishing zone. Yes, thank you.
Not the danger zone then.
Nah.
Okay.
I can actually. No disrespect, but I can do Mr. 42's voice. Anybody want to hear it?
Go on then.
See, Gary said a thing, but then he claims he didn't say it. Gary, can you please tell me, what did you mean when you said this?
That's not bad. That's not bad.
Shout out to Mr. 42.
Yeah.
I can neither say if it was good or bad. I mean, I'm out of context here.
No, I think that was quite good actually. I can't do Mr. 42. Well, you know I can only do one person, and I really don't feel like that at the moment.
I can do one person very well, and then I can try to do a few. No.
So let me ask you a question, guys.
I know what that is.
Yeah.
Good evening, gentlemen.
What is this? What is this? Comedy hour? No.
Is this a comedy hour now?
Go on,
Gravity. La La Land. We are in La La Land.
I joined at the right time, didn't I?
Yeah, you're pretty good at it too, people, on doing the moron trial, voice.
I love it.
Yeah.
All you guys do is double speak.
That's good. That was very good. Someone say La La Land in his voice. It's better than funny.
Okay, guys. So wait a second. If you think that the Earth is an open system, you guys are living in La La Land. Because if you, I mean, how can you say that the Earth is open when we breathe air? I mean, then we got movements all over the place. We got the Earth moving at 1,000 miles per hour. We're going 60,000 miles around the sun. It's like 11 vectors going on all over the place. Come on, guys, get a grip of reality.
Say you don't understand vectors without actually saying you don't understand vectors.
What someone needs to do is get a list of all the activities that goes on in the human body. You've got your heart pumping over here, and then you've got your brain with electron, and then you've got your just describe everything that goes on in the human body, and that's completely inconceivable because it's complicated.
Yeah.
Hello, Jose.
Mr. 42, I heard a voice now. What's up, man?
You summoned me. I had you on television, and I heard my name.
I was in the telly.
Yes.
What I mean, I wanna to the audience. I apologize to you too. I would like Gary to answer the question, maybe to agree that there was. Yeah, I typed a little extra word, or I just misspoke. I meant to say this, but it was bad, man. I mean, I didn't mean to pressure him too much because it's not my style. But I needed clarification, which he was unable to give us. Give us your thoughts on how that went down. Gary trying to defend himself.
Well, I kind of missed the beginning of it. Someone mentioned to me that this was going on right now with Gary, so that is when I tuned in. So I heard the second part, and where it was already going overhead or over his head. But it is usual twisting and denying, and you know what he does.
Yeah.
And that is also the reason why I wanted to point it out in the first place.
What do you consider? Let me ask you. Right, right now is let me see, 4:16 p.m. So at noon, at 12, the sun was like straight up above my head. Right now, the sun is, you can imagine in 3 hours will be a sunset. So the sun is like in a 45-degree angle or whatever. What will be the best way to say about the sun? Is it overhead or over my head right now for me?
Neither.
Neither, right? But if I get to kind of just as a speaker, like, yeah, it was daytime, so the sun was. Which one do you think I could use, and it will be? I mean, within context, will be okay.
It is in elevation. It is higher than you, but it's not over your head or overhead in any way. Unless it is really overhead, it can happen, but usually not.
Right. So I think when you say overhead or over your head, you could only call it like when it's roughly at your noon, when the sun is like right straight above your head. Maybe
exactly
11 a.m. to 1 p.m., which is close. You got a little bit of over here, a little bit over there, but give or take from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. when the sun is like roughly over your head, you can say like, yeah, the sun was over my head, overhead. Yeah. Either or.
It's kind of hard to imagine right now. It's in the evening, it's dark and it's cold, and it's not raining anymore, but even thunder before. It's not a happy day here, weather-wise.
So do you think in both comments it was just not correct? Because if it was so close to sunrise, it was close after sunrise or a little before sunset or moonrise or moonset. It was neither overhead nor over his head. He could have used another term then.
Yeah, well, that's not really the point. If the thing is, with his first comment, he might have said something wrong. I know he often uses voice to text, and maybe it's translated wrong there. It can happen. But when someone is pointing it out, don't deny that you wrote that before, that you said that before. That is the whole point. Just explain that something was misinterpreted or something, but don't deny what is literally there. That doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Right?
Good times, man. Good. Gary get triggers too easy, and I would like. I don't know. I like him to just maybe be a little more chill and low down a few notches and be able to talk to people, because he's a fun guy to talk to, because he snaps and he go crazy, but he gotta chill out a little bit. That's my take.
Yeah, that's why we tune in.
What do you guys think? It's like people like poking on Gary a little bit too, eh? Earth is alive, I mean. Probably busy driving. Sorry. Doofus, what do you think? Doofus is the scientist here, the smart guy in the room. Look at me. Earth is live. You do like poking at Gary a little bit, right?
I mean, I wouldn't say poking, just a little correcting. That's all. He says something wrong, we say, no, you're wrong, and here's why. But of course, Gary's never wrong. So everyone else is wrong. Not Gary.
I just put the camera up for a minute, Mr. 42, to give yourself and the little one a shout out.
Sorry. I heard you twice now because I also had a YouTube stream on. What did you say? My apologies.
I put your camera up for the audience for a few seconds so we can see you, give you a shout out, and the little one also a shout out.
Right. And for people who don't know me, you can subscribe at mr42.yt. That goes directly to my YouTube page. Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay. So you added the YT to your channel, or it's just Mr. 42, but the YouTube, if you Google it, it will take you to YouTube.
Yeah, it will go to YouTube. I just registered the domain and made a redirect to the YouTube page. That's all I did. Not that complicated.
mr42.yt?
Mr42.yt.
Nice.
And how many
It just makes
how
it easier to find, right?
Yeah, exactly.
how many goats do you pay for that service?
Goats. What was the price of a domain? Was it like 5-6 euros for a year? I think.
Not too bad, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
And we
Yeah,
got
those-
Dora Unku in the chat box with the flip flops on. Appreciate for being a flip flopper member, and she threw a link to that page in YouTube. So check it out.
My daughter is now watching herself on the television. She's very happy about that. Thank you, Jose.
Yay! What do you think? Feedback. I mean, it looks. I mean, it doesn't look bad, right? It looks clean. You know, the YouTube it looks okay, right?
It looks okay. The only thing you need to work on a little bit is that PayPal logo on top. There's a lot of white
Yeah,
dots around it. It's a bit ugly.
yeah,
But if you
it's
can
ugly.
clean that up, it would look even better.
Yeah, I know. I gotta change the whole thing. That I just one day early in the morning I said I gotta add a little something and not have just the plain stream. So I added a little too much.
Oh dear. In the chat, Mr42 is the person that hacked Dave Wise's page, correct? Well, not really. I just exposed his bad security.
Yeah. He didn't hack anything at all.
Yeah, I called it hacking, and that is a little bit of clickbait. But hey, how else do you get people to click your video? But it's not entirely incorrect, depending on your interpretation.
Have you seen recently regarding that video you made about Durst app? Have you seen Slash Arcane videos about it?
Not yet. I saw some tweets, but I haven't taken a look yet. I was going to.
Check it out, definitely. I think it will. When is it? The 20th is when he's gonna go live and pretty much debunk it live.
Oh yeah, I just downloaded that 1 FPS video from 1 gigabyte that was somewhere. That I also
All right, guys. Let's bring this down back to earth a little bit. Gary Webenga rejoined. I'm gonna stay out of it, Gary. Yeah, I might have stepped over the line a little bit, and I really pushed you a little bit. Your second opportunity. You already heard my point, my argument. On just reading these 2 comments is a little out of context, whatever it is. You got time to speak up. And Mr. 42, if you wanted, to ask any question or comments, hopefully Gary is able to speak, not too busy at work. Gary, all right.
Jose, before we do this, please, because I know what's gonna happen, right? Gary's gonna start talking, and he's never going to stop. So just Gary, please, if you're gonna have a conversation back and forth, you got to give someone a chance to respond, please. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, and we might feel like he's going and maybe too long, but that's your mental clock. But in physicality, he probably haven't even spoken for a full minute. So giving a chance, like Lemon Bird. Some people get so triggered with Lemon is just ranting because he speaks so fast and makes so many points. But when realistically, he just spoke for maybe 30 seconds or 35 seconds. And some people say he's been speaking for 5 minutes. Nah. Gary, what's up, man? Did that comment? Those comments, man. Those related to the eclipse, the moon eclipse that we had going on. Go ahead, man. Please don't leave me hanging. Audience want to hear what you got to say.
There you go.
All right. Well, we keep talking among ourselves while he decides to jump in, and we're giving it. And by among ourselves, I mean yourself, because I'm going to step out for like 5 minutes. I got to eat a quick snack. So I'll be back shortly. Hopefully there's not too much silence. It's a lot of people here. Take the floor and take it away, guys. I just going to, I don't know, put whatever image up in the background.
So silence it is.
Mr. 42, I bet that your daughter there knows more about the shape of the earth than most flurfs.
Ooh, I haven't told her anything about it yet.
Mm-hmm. My guess is that she can figure out which way down is, which is something that a lot of flirts have a problem with.
Oh yeah, she absolutely knows what down is. We have to do that quite a few times every day. I lived on the 4th floor without an elevator.
Oh, great.
And down is scary for her. Well, no, not so much anymore. In the beginning it was much more, but actually she can do the stairs a lot better now. But
I've
she's
always
just
told
lazy,
a lot
so always asking me anyway. I just saw something funny in the chat. When life gives you lemon, disconnect the internet.
Yes.
I always tell several flirts that if they have a problem with down, to find a local 2-year-old and have them point it to them, and they know the direction
Yeah.
that down is.
Yeah, I don't understand how that can be confusing. Even if you believe in your flat Earth, fine, but you can still understand the concept of the globe, even if you don't agree with it. But why do you argue against the concept of it? That is something I cannot really understand. Say something. Guys are quiet, man. What's
Sorry,
up?
I was loading up chairs. I'm sorry. I
Okay.
couldn't respond.
That looks like one of the
So-
symbols of chaos she's holding there.
Yeah, she's hiding me.
I drew 2 images for my daughter. She's 8, and one of them was a curve with an observer on one side and a tree on the other. And then I drew another one with a flat surface with an observer on one side and a tree on the other. And I asked her, I said, the one with the curve, I asked her, do you think the man on one side can see the tree? And she said, no. And I said, why not? She said, because the hill is blocking the tree. Then I drew the other picture with the flat surface. I said, can this man see the tree? She said, yes. And I said, why? Because she said, because nothing is blocking the tree.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if my daughter can understand something as simple as that, and flat earthers can't understand the curvature of the earth, there's a real serious problem.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Of course there is. Why do you think they're flat earthers?
Yeah. And I actually have it recorded. So one day I'm going to actually put that in the video or something.
Oh, Gary is now spamming in Gary. The Gary room. About a flag that is not directly above him, but still higher than him, of course. He's arguing over his head, as in higher than his head. That is not how English works, Gary. You should know
that's
that.
what I said. When you say something's over your head, you're not saying, oh, it's just higher than my head.
No.
When you're saying it's over your head, it's over your head. Because if you're saying it's higher than your head, then you say, oh, I don't know, it's higher than your head.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'd been so much for easier to say, oh, yeah, sorry, I cocked up.
Yeah, that would be so much simpler if he just admits he made a mistake somewhere.
Yes.
Sorry about it. I meant this and this. Go ahead.
Stingray did yesterday, and he immediately admitted it and apologised because he'd got it wrong. I mean, that's how you do it.
Yeah.
So stupid.
Well, the traditional flurf way of doing that is you just take the videos down and don't say anything, just kind of pretend it never happened.
Well, that or you double down, treble down, quadruple
Well, you
down.
double, triple down, and still, I mean, who's the guy that MC Toon did that too? Double, tripled, and quadrupled down, and then like 2 days later took the videos down.
There are some channels that they automatically back up in case videos got deleted.
It's amazing.
Well done, Zebulon. Yes, indeed, it is over Gary's head.
This is the guy that was trying to do fixes to the sun, and he went 6 time zones away and corrected UTC.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it was hilarious. I think he misunderstood the terms correct for UTC. You know,
Yeah.
maybe correct to UTC should have been one.
Yeah, she didn't actually try and correct UTC.
Laat je niet daarmee spelen, Mita.
Sorry, gentlemen, I had to leave again.
That's quite all right. You're not under contract to be here.
So, how do you guys feel about people talking about subjects that they have never really studied, or claim they know knowledge in subjects that they never studied?
You mean like every flat
Sometimes
earther who
it's quite
exists?
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Like, why are we having conversations about like black holes and relativity and things like
I
that?
don't tend to have conversations about black holes because I don't.
Yeah.
It's not something that I look into or I'm interested in. You won't hear me talking about quantum mechanics and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, whatever. I'll leave that well alone. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
I mean, and I know a lot of them haven't studied any of this, but they want to like make claims and ask us questions about it. And if we don't know anything about relativity, obviously the model's fucking broken or something.
But yeah, if somebody tries to tell me that air doesn't have weight, then I'm going to take exception to that and argue with them because yes, it bloody well does.
Yeah.
You know, that's something I do understand from what I do with work and everything, and water down pipes and air down ducts. Yes, air has weight. How do you think you get blown around in a storm? It's just air at the end of the day, but it can be strong enough to knock you off your feet. You're telling me there's no mass to it?
Exactly.
Of course there is.
Yeah. See, I stay away from those conversations too when they're talking about like space time and quantum physics and things like that. Like, come on.
Yeah,
Neither one of us know much about that stuff.
Exactly.
So why are we arguing about it?
Yeah, if you don't know about it, and this is from the flat Earth side, if you clearly haven't got a clue about it, why have you brought it up? Why don't you start with the easy stuff? Why don't you explain the sunset? You know, walk before you can run. Work out what the sun's doing before you start worrying about sort of dark matter and quantum this and that and the other.
They do want to talk about stuff that it could be neither here or there, that any of us have any direct either measurement or experiments or shit like that, like those that very way out there black holes and Big Bang and all that shit. Why? Because they want to just keep dragging the conversation and go in circular reasoning, and they want to use this argument that are very difficult, very advanced, that they definitely don't understand, that they know we don't have direct, connection to them, that we people on YouTube cannot do anything about it. We cannot change or do anything about it. I mean,
No, there are some shields. Like, what's his name? Chronic? Oh, he has connections.
all right. Now, I want to know what type of connection, for example. What can he do in relation to one of the mentioned? What topic are you talking about, and what connections do he have?
He's going to get time on the Webb Space Telescope.
Really?
The team is on. Yes.
Wait. So he can. So you didn't answer. What connection does he have directly to what? What topic? Or
No,
those
he
that
said
any of us have?
He said he's actually getting time to use the James Webb Space Telescope.
He's on a team.
Is that what you said, Chai?
Part of a scientific team that does research, use telescopes.
What kind of research? things that we don't know, that nobody, any of us can do anything or change anything about.
Well, he, as much as I understood, they studied the exoplanets.
Yeah, he's a real astronomer.
Right.
So now, okay, so in relation to exoplanets, planets light years away, right? Now, what connections does he have? What can he do to either change anything about what any of us know about?
No, but he has a direct connection to study those things. More of a connection than we would have.
Yeah, he's an expert in the field. He actually is looking at the data.
So if that guy go to a group of flat earthers and they want to talk about black holes, exoplanet, that in that topic, you think that guy is the authority on speaking the truth about those topics? Is that what you guys?
And authority.
Okay,
Will
can
that guy
speak about-
know more than anybody else in the room when talking about those topics?
Yes.
That's without doubt.
What do you think he knows that any of the rest of the people?
But he has the data from the telescopes. Whatever data that is, that I
Oh,
wouldn't
he
know
already
how
has
to
the
read.
data. He's already doing it.
Right. He's already doing it.
He's gotten time on the Hubble. In fact, he was one of the last guys to get the Hubble before the last time it shut down for a while.
So this guy with this group of people is getting information that we, the rest of the public, are not getting.
Yes, a real scientist that does a real science with real,
He's,
very expensive instruments.
he's getting the raw data from the satellites. Something you and I probably don't get.
And this information is not available for everybody. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know if it's not available. I don't know that the data from Hubble is supposed to be available.
I don't know.
As I know.
I'd heard that the way it works is you ask for something to be seen, and you put requisitions in, and then there's like a board that decides where they're going to look, and then a few months later you open up your email and there it is. So
Yeah, but
So-
there must be a database you can search whatever you want if it's already there.
Is
I
there
don't know.
anybody in this group of people that we are talking in here, or anybody that you see in the chat box, that has more, that have accessibility to certain topics that the flat earthers are not or do not have accessibility?
Well, I would
In
say
relation,
that
in relation to the topic,
I would say that I have to maybe getting accurate maps. Hold on one second, I got a phone call.
because I don't think anybody here or in the chat box have more. There's a phrase to use: have more than the rest of us in
Well,
relation to this topic. We are all in the same boat. All in the same boat, all of us.
There's
We right
certain
now,
people
yeah.
will have special access to certain information because they might be renting out time on a telescope for something that they're working on, a paper they're writing, and they don't want that information, that data, going to someone else before they have used it.
Us, there's us here today now.
Yeah, I don't think any others have got any access to it. But there's plenty of information that you get. There's access that's public, but it's normally several years old already, yeah?
So that was my intention. If this guy is the only exception that I have heard that have any kind of is special over all of us because he has access to some certain files and data from the Hubble telescope that the rest of us doesn't have. So what he's getting is some data that we are not getting, and he and his team are interpreting this data whatever way they want to present to us. What will that change? What difference will that make? That will make that person and that team have understand better that topic because they interpreted the data the way they did. If they would share the data with everybody else, we would have the same observations, the same, either arrive to the same conclusion or have a different conclusion. Why is there not something else, something different? Because that is the only team that have accessibility to that data. So I cannot challenge them. Why you didn't share that data with me and us in here, and we could come up with another set of of telling you what you are looking at, instead of you telling me what what is what you are getting. I don't know if I'm making any sense. I hope I am making for some people. I know there's some skeptics listening in the background, but there's what I am. Those people, that guy and those people, they're not special. They have anything different. They are just giving a set of data, they're interpreting it, and they're giving it to us. They say, all right, we look at the data and this is the information. What in the fuck is that is? So I gotta learn that information, and then if I want to learn it, I learn what you interpret, what you told me it is, and I regurgitate it forward, and I speak it forward, I learn it, and I spew it forward. So we're never gonna change. If you don't change the data, you don't give the data to reach a bigger audience, you will never get a different interpretation of it. You will never get different results, because you are the one leading the group for what you like and you want it to be. Fuck's sake.
Wait, Jose, chill. I'm quite sure they aim to make some discovery, whatever it will be. When they do, when they finish analyzing the data, they will publish a paper. That paper will have the data, what they conclude from it. You can go over it and come to your own conclusion and have objection, if you have any, to the data. It's not going to be kept secret.
That's the way science works. Somebody collects data, analyzes it, comes to a conclusion, writes a paper about it, publishes it, and then his peers, people of the same level in his field, will analyze it, look over his data, check that he's doing his calculation correctly and the way he's analysed the data is correct, and then they will say whether what he said is correct or what he said has got some failure in it and needs to be reanalyzed or re-looked at. That's how science works.
And then all that data will be put, it'll be distributed to different platforms.
It'll be open
and
for other people to look at.
Yes, and then someone else will come in and try and break it down for the layman to understand.
But this is the same thing as what people do when they're developing a new drug. They work on it, they don't tell other people about it until they've developed a drug. Then they say, we've made this new drug and it has to be tested. You know what I mean? They have to look over the way they've built the drug, the people that were tested on, how many animals, what side effects, all that sort of thing. And then it has to go and get tested by the FDA or the Drug Administration, whatever, before it can be licensed to be given to people. But so all the data, once they've completed their work, then it has to go and get tested by other people in the same field, who know what they're looking at. There's no point in giving it to me. I wouldn't know what a new drug was. I wouldn't know anything about a new planet found in 100 light years away. But there is other people out there that would know that, and they're the people who get to review it and say whether the conclusions are correct or not.
Yeah, I'm quite sure none of us will understand the raw data.
Hello?
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 Yeah, I'm not
I was
a
just
data analyst.
testing if you can hear me.
What's up, Croxy? I hear you.
Hello, Jose. It's been long. I missed the show.
I changed your name to Croxy today.
What was it before?
Croaks or Croxy. Today is Croxy.
Well, yeah, yeah, I like this one too.
I thought it was Crozy. I thought the X was pronounced as a
If
Z.
anyone has certain information that hello.
Go ahead, Crows. Let's give him the mic. Crows.
Yeah, so I have something that not many people know, and I cannot share because it's like in the military, the air defense, the altitudes of the aircrafts, what's the maybe call it the circles of detection depending on the height of the aircrafts, maps, things like that. These things I cannot share. I don't even have them as in my position. I cannot. So this is something that most flat earthers will never see it.
Do you think if they had access to that data, they could make an argument in favor or against it for some reason?
I'm sure they will find an argument against it.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, and at the end, if they didn't find anything, they would say, okay, so the missile has all the compensations required to work on a flat Earth, but fools you that it's a globe.
See, this is what I don't get with flat earthers. I mean, they keep saying there's no such thing as gravity. It's all to do with buoyancy and stuff like that. But if you build a ship, you have to find the center of gravity of that ship to get it to sit in the water correctly. But you also have to find its buoyancy level, which is different from its center of gravity. It's always different, And the closer it is to that, then they call it a firm sailing ship. And there's another name for it when it's slightly further apart. It's a fair sailing ship. And so if there's no gravity, why do you need a buoyancy and a gravity center on a ship? I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
The globe has zero arguments. It's getting really ridiculous to keep asking you guys questions. All you do is dance. Damn it.
Oh, are you the other Jose? The one who's still flat earther?
Chat to flip flop.
What was that almighty clang I just heard? Oh, was it the penny dropping?
All right, try asking a legitimate question. Disclaimer. Earlier in the show, I say I might grab comments from the comment sections on YouTube from the live chat, and I will read them as my own. Just putting that out there. You will not get any credit, even though you know that the comment came from you. It's your own thought. I will grab that comment and speak it as if it's mine. I will not give you any credit whatsoever. So thank you for hanging out on YouTube. So sound worse the second time I say it.
Yeah.
But that was a stupid comment that we don't ask, good questions or whatever, I mean, the one question you can't get any of the flat earth to answer is, why is the moon upside down in Australia relative to how we see it up here in Britain, North America? Why is that on a flat earth? How does the moon turn upside down from one side of the flat earth to the other?
You can't have flip flops without a container. Go ahead, Croaks. You were gonna say something. Croaksy.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, and the moon, because some flat earthers argue about this moon thing that on a plane, if the moon is on the equator and you move from north to south, it will flip, but the whole shape of the moon is going to change. It will not be the same surface that people see in the north. People in the south will see different surface and different, not just orientation. And that's not true here in reality.
Yeah.
Or
How does it flip upside down? You might see it from two different sides, but since we only see one face of the moon, give or take a few degrees as it wobbles, why is it upside down on one side of the flat Earth from the other side? Whereas we say it's a globe, which is why we see it upside down.
you fail to think as flat Earth. It may be flat, maybe not a ball.
You don't understand, Shaik. This is like grade school geometry, man.
So if it's flat, we would see the same face, but it wouldn't be round. We need to take everything into account. What are the possibilities?
There's no possibility of the moon turning upside down because you're seeing it from one side or the other of the Earth.
Well, if it's flat, there's no problem.
No, there is a problem. The whole problem is that on a flat Earth, why is it upside down on one side?
Because it's flat.
No, that means it's a sphere. It can
No.
only happen on a sphere. It can't happen on a flat Earth.
Yes, on a flat moon.
Doesn't matter if the moon's flat. If you're seeing it,
Yes, it does. Draw a circle on the ceiling. Go one side, go the other side. What do you see?
Well, first of all, it will be an oval, and then it will be a circle, and then will be an oval, but opposite direction.
Right. So now the question is not why do we see the same face, is why is it always round?
because it's a sphere. Every other planet in the solar system is a sphere. We know that. The only planet that you as flat earthers say is flat is the Earth. Everything else is a sphere.
Look, that is what in contention. You can say every planet is a sphere because this is in contention.
It's not contested. Everybody, even a lot of major flat earthers, say that all the other planets are spheres.
Really?
They might say that they're projections or something, but they say they're spheres. You can look at the moon and you can see shadows in the craters. So that wouldn't happen on a disk, you know? It's got to be round for that to happen, you know what I mean? What the hell?
I can't. Lemon can't.
You cannot have shadows on a disk in craters, you say? Yes, you can. You can have a disk shape with a bunch of craters and you'll get shadows. Yes, you can.
Yeah, but the shadows move like it's three-dimensional, so it's got to be a sphere.
The shadows move because either the disk is moving or the light source is moving, and the shadows will
Both
change.
of them are moving. Both of them are moving. That's
or
the whole
both
thing.
of them are moving. Therefore, the shadows will change. Yes, in a disk, it will work. It works.
Well, not if it's flat. I mean, how can it be
It
three-dimensional if
works.
it's flat?
It works. If you got craters on a flat disk, it would work.
But he's saying it's a disk. It's a flat disk, and you wouldn't have shadows on it.
You say you can't have shadows on a flat disk. Well, if it got craters, of course there will be shadows on this flat disk with craters.
In mountains.
Yeah, mountains and crevices and all that kind of shit. You all got all kinds of shadows.
Then it's not a flat disk if it's got craters and mountains, is it?
Why do you say that? So my forehead must be flat and for me to have pimples on it, or can it be bumpy forehead? I mean, any shape you can have pimples and bumps and craters on any surface. It doesn't have to be flat or round for you to have craters and bumps and mountains to have shadows. Any surface will work.
But your head isn't flat. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. You know.
Yeah, you're saying that you cannot have shadows on a flat disk. That's what you'll be saying. Well, if it's a flat disk, there's no shadows. But if you got craters on it and you got anything in the flat disk, you will have shadows.
Yeah, well, I think what he should have said is that the shadows changes according to the position of the terminator line. Like when you look to a golf ball, the shadows on the these tiny dimples is different from place to place. So
So what I'm
that's
saying
important.
is,
Not just shadows, but the shape of the shadows across the face of the moon.
what a lot of
Okay,
flat
that,
earthers say is that the moon casts its own light. It's not reflected light for the sun. So if it casts its own light, how is there shadows on it? I mean, if it's glowing, it shouldn't have shadows on it. So it is reflected sunlight. But they say it isn't reflected sunlight. It's a hologram that shines cold light and crap like that. And that's just you understand what I'm saying? They can't have it every which way. It can't be a light casting cold light that's flat if it's got shadows cast by the sun on it. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah, but this is exactly like flat Earth. So you have one claim from one side, and then you have observations. We see the moon wobble, so we see more than sometimes we see more on one side, and sometimes we see more on the other side, which kind of give the hint that it's round. Then you have the terminator line, and then you have shadows, and then you have that it's always round. You have accumulating evidence to show that the moon is actually round, not flat. And the only way we can see the way it is, that is a big sphere very, very far away. But for every argument they bring, you need to bring the counter argument, the thing that proves that this argument is false.
All right. What was the point? The intention was that the moon cannot be flat, right? I don't think. I mean, a lot of people, a lot of flat earthers don't even want to say what the moon they think it is. A lot of people don't want to just give their own take on it. They don't want to speculate things. I did when I was a flat earther. I said, don't take my word for it, but I think how it could work, and that's fair. If you want to argue with me, you're arguing with a speculation. I don't got anything to prove it or disprove it, but they could do that. They just don't even do that. I back in the day, I heard some of them say the moon is flat or it's just not a solid object, but now they just retracted. Everybody say I don't know. So they don't want to even hold on too hard to the argument that the moon emits its own light. They don't want to hold on to the fact that the moon is solid or not. They just don't want to just want to speculate anything. So
Yeah, I
all
mean,
these arguments are pretty much strawmans, for their non-existing model, for the non-existing answers and speculation.
yeah, I mean, I've spent years. I've had several different telescopes. I've spent years looking at the moon, and I think it's an amazing astral body. It's just engrossing to be able to just sit for a couple of hours and watch it. You know what I mean? It's through a telescope, and I wonder if any flat earthers have ever done that. Maybe it would change their mind.
They
Yeah,
all
it
have
may, it may.
P900.
Sorry, go ahead, Jake.
They all have P900. You can see the moon pretty good with the P900.
Oh, Doofus, you all right? Having a stroke over there? Hope not.
Can you smell toast?
Things are good.
Okay, I heard a weird whistle, like trying to say.
Sounded like you'd
You're
just
welcome.
given up the will to live.
Just trying to keep it interesting because there's completely dead silence.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. I'm just trying to find comments, good comments, so I can obfuscate and tell. So for everybody on the YouTube, if you got a bold false claims to make, please type it in the YouTube chat box. Balance Truth is already doing it for a long time. If everybody else want to join Balance Truth and Flip Flop and type in some big bold false claims, please do so. I might grab your comments and read them here, and I'll read them as if they were mine. Thank you very much.
Well,
Zizigi, hello, are you new? Gotti's quiet, man. Gotti never came back to give his side of the story after I wanted an answer earlier. I know I'm not gonna get that, but maybe I'll be patient and listen to his side of the story on why did he contradict himself into different comments 2 days apart. Boom.
I never contradicted myself, and I made a diagram for you, and it's in Gary, under Gary. Help yourself to look.
Excellent.
Sorry, I'm not going to explain it to you anymore because you are too dumb to understand unless you look at it. So
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna. Yeah, I'll let you speak if you want to explain it, but I'll put the diagram. I'll put it. There you go. It's showing to the audience now, and screen share if you want to see it. It's there.
Yeah, I disagree with this diagram. You're assuming, Gary, that because the mountain is higher than you, it's above you, which is not necessarily true.
only a Globey would say something that dumb.
Well, only a Globey with evidence will say something like that.
Oh, let's see. I can see the hills and the mountains, and they're definitely both above me.
Well, I can see the tower, which is lower than the observer, and the mountain below it, and I surely know you look down to the tower. Then I know for sure you're looking down to the mountain that is higher than you, Gary. So I disagree with. It may be true. Not saying it's not true, but it's not necessarily true.
Of course, it's necessarily true.
No,
If you
it's
drew an
not.
angle
Gary?
from my eyes, either the
We-
hills or the mountains on either
We
side,
use
they're both
above,
at
but
an
not
upward
over
elevation.
to refer to things that are at an upper or higher level. So it's wrong what you did. And this is from the
No, it is
dictionary.
not wrong what I did. Just
It
like I
is
have
from the
another
dic-
picture I just took a little while ago of the flag. I wasn't
Okay.
directly under it, so it wasn't
You want to
overhead.
go against a
But
dictionary.
it was
That's
about
fine.
50 feet away, the pole,
better
and
than a
it was
dictionary.
over my head.
You think you know better than a
Over my
dictionary.
head.
That is what you're doing.
I'm what?
You think you're better or smarter than a dictionary. That is what you're doing right
I'm
now.
smarter than you. I know what overhead. Overhead is a single word.
We
Overhead.
are not
That
talking
means
about
something
overhead.
directly
That is a
overhead.
straw man. So fuck off with that word. We are not talking about that.
You're just John dumb, and now you know you got caught in
No,
your skin.
we are not talking about overheads. That is something that you just come up with. We use above,
Context,
but
make
not
up your
over
little
to refer
story
to
like
things that are at a
moron
upper or
you
higher
are.
level. That is from a dictionary. Are you
Both
going
higher.
against a dictionary?
The sun was higher than the mountains. The moon was higher than the mountains on the east. The sun was higher than the mountains in the west. They're
Again,
both
we
higher
use
than me.
above in that
They're
case, but
over my
not
head, in other
over.
words.
Are you stupid?
And you can literally draw a line from one to the other with no
Fuck it, you
mountain
know
in
it.
between. Calm down, Mr. 42.
No, that's
I'm
a
sorry
joke.
you got
That's a
caught
joke,
in your
motherfucker.
bullshit.
Hey,
But that's
English,
how
do
it
you
is.
know it? Do you speak English? We use above, but not over to refer to things that are at an upper
Above my
or
head is no
higher
different than
level.
over my
That is
head.
dictionary. That is a definition that you go against. Do you think you're smarter than a
Above
dictionary?
is over me. If something's above me, it's over me. If
No,
something's over my
we use
overhead,
above, but
it means
not
it's directly
over
over my
from
head.
the dictionary. Why are you going against a dictionary? Are you that
overhead.
thick? Are you that thick-headed? Are you that stupid?
Look at the dictionary
Yes, you
at the
are.
word overhead.
You are.
Somebody can be on a floor above you doesn't mean they're over your head.
They were both over. They're above me. That means they're over my head. You moron.
Over your head, they could be on another building a mile away and still be above you. You know what I mean? God's sake.
Almost hilarious. Listen to the lengths you guys go to keep from saying something is over my head. If it's
Gary's
not, if I
right.
didn't use the word
Every bit
overhead.
of this is over
The
Gary's
top of
head.
Mount Everest is above you, but it's not over your head.
I'd say every bit of this is over Gary's head.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey, Blue, if you took off in your plane, would you go up higher to make it over those mountains? Would you go over what my head is?
I don't know if I would or not.
Oh my God! And you're a pilot,
I am.
and you wouldn't go up if you took off on the landing strip right where I'm at, and you took off. You wouldn't climb
Oh, in that
to go
case,
over those mountains.
right. Yeah, if you're going to talk about it that way.
Because they're why? Because they're over my head. They're over my elevation. They're over my head. You can literally see them both, and you could draw a line across your sky if you want, from one to the other. There's nothing in between them.
There's lots of other
And
words in the
and
dictionary.
the
You
moon
could
was
be
2/3
above
eclipsed.
my
And by the way,
position.
Phil, I was right. You were wrong on that, which you never corrected, because I had a full eclipse by 8:30 on the East Coast. It was 11:30, which is my 8:30. By the time I got home, I took a picture. It was 8:34. It was fully eclipsed. When I saw the 2/3 eclipse, it was right around 8, slightly before, because the moon was up. I could see it in my rear view mirror, and the sun was still in my eyes up ahead of me. I was driving home. So both were up in the sky above the mountains on both sides. I could see them both. And the moon was about 2/3 eclipsed. That's just an estimate. 2/3, because 30 minutes later, it was fully eclipsed. You said something completely different when you came back on Jose's show, like it was going to be several hours before I had a full eclipse.
Good times, good times. For those listening on YouTube, please hit that like now. If you're watching the show, we only have 21 likes with 40 watching. Please boom like now. Support the channel via PayPal or Super Chat. And we are in the Discord server, the Daily Boom.
That's where all the fun gifts are.
Hope you guys are enjoying the background music. Brought to you by royalty-free YouTube music.
We don't hear it on Discord. That's fine.
No.
Yeah.
You will hear it on YouTube. It's not too loud. It's just in the background, so it's a nice little touch.
Yeah, I can hear it.
Yeah, and it's not
Exactly.
overwhelming, right? It's not overwhelming. It's cool, right?
Yeah, that's fine.
I like it. I like it.
I like your selection too, Jose.
Appreciate it. Shout out to Dora Utu with €2 super chat. This is silly. I declare this discussion is above. Boom! Shout out to Dora Utu. Appreciate it.
Well played, Dora. Like it.
I mean, an airplane can fly higher than you, be above where you are, where you know your position. But it needs to be overhead to drop a bomb on you. No point if it's 2 miles away dropping a bomb. It's not going to land on you because it's not overhead, you know? These semantic arguments you get for these flat earthers are just ridiculous, you know?
I think this music is cool, bro. It fits so well to this show, the discussion. I love it. So silly, but so right. I mean, it's good music, but I don't know, the groove, you know. And if there's no voices, at least we get a little bit of a little bit of a banjo in the background, you know.
I can't hear it in Discord.
Yeah, you got to watch Jose's live in Discord.
Yeah, you got to watch my screen share on YouTube. Over here, yeah.
If you're not watching the screen share, you're not going to hear it.
Yeah, I'm sharing a silly memes, but the sound is coming through the screen share.
I get you now. Is he going to break out into a man of constant sorrow?
Hey!
I think if you play this song long enough, a shed will be built automatically in your backyard.
That's a great movie, man. I watched it just about 3 weeks ago again for about the third time, you know.
They lip sync to that so well in the film. Man of Constant Sorrow. Oh, who the hell was it who sung that? I can't remember who it was now.
Dora Unku is on point today. Dora Unku is funny. She said, I thought this was blues theme music.
Who sang that, Farmers? Every bluegrass band in the world.
Well, I know, but for the film, oh God, let's have a look.
I think the best part is when the fat politician gets up on the stage trying to muscle in, you know.
Is that the one where Matey Boy's in the Ku Klux Klan, and because he's only got one eye, the hood's only got one eye hole in it?
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah. It's a while since I've seen it, but yeah.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of my top 10 comedy movies, man, of all time. You know what I mean?
Where art thou?
Yeah. Absolutely fantastic, man. I love this.
Of course, now we get to see.
This fantastic, man.
So, what do you guys think about the diagram from Gary earlier? I actually didn't pay attention. I'm gonna put it up. I'll put it live. So we got ground position. We got Gary over here. We got me. I'm sharing my screen just in case. We got an overhead. We got an overhead, and he's got an open angle to the left, and we got an open angle to the right. We got the sun in the left, the moon in the right. We got mount, and an arrow above him says overhead, but covering the overhead is a giant triangle. How many degrees is the triangle? It's a big open angle. At all points, the sun and moon are over my head. Straight up from my head is overhead. Why our globe is so dumb? That's what I asked earlier, and I told Mr. 42, because they are over my head at all times, even if they are already close to the horizon, you know? But
well, that's not what overhead means. They're above you.
It's not what overhead. It's not what overhead nor over my head. When they are either overhead or over my head, it means they're almost directly above you.
Yeah, that's what overhead means. Yeah. Above you, directly almost above you. They could drop something on your head if they're overhead. If they're above you, they could be miles away and be above you, but they're not going to drop something on your head if they drop it, you know.
This diagram is a good version from his lie about lying. Boom.
I mean, he's even got an arrow going up, 2 arrows going up to say overhead that's where the arrows are pointing, overhead. But he's saying the moon and the sun are overhead as well, but they're nowhere near being above him, no directly. So they're not overhead.
Well, for me, I have one response only to any flat earther who try to argue eclipses with me. I took the parameter of one eclipse and I showed it on a physical sphere. I predicted the path of the eclipse using the heliocentric model and not quoting any equation from NASA. I just tried to find out a way, and I did it. And I guess I showed it here recently, Jose, you might have seen it. That globe with the laser pin.
Boom.
Shall we talk about the iron pipe is not a lead pipe, Blue?
Yeah, I was just irritating Jeremy.
He deserves it.
Yeah, I thought so.
Hey, I got another question for Doofus.
Okay.
So you admit that the moon at one point will be overhead on Capricorn?
At some point.
So now are you going to admit it will be overhead at Cancer at some point? Like 14
At
days
some
from
point.
now?
The thing that I took issue with was whether your description of whether it hits both tropics all the time, month to month. That's the part that I took issue with.
28 days it'll touch both.
That's
So
not
we're at
necessarily
about
true.
the south right now. So 14 days from now, it should be overhead or past, slightly past Cancer. It'll pass overhead at one point. It'll be slightly farther north than Cancer. It goes a little farther out than the sun does.
That's not true every month.
It's true every month, every 28 days. In 14 days from now, it'll be overhead on Cancer. And then it'll turn around and it'll go back towards Capricorn, where it'll be overhead in 14 days from then.
No, it won't.
Yes, it will. It's a
You have to
28-day
remember,
cycle.
It's what, 6 months of the
Start
year?
from now, look in 14 days and tell me where it's at. You can look
It's
at time and
what?
date. No, that's true.
Keep in mind the moon is at that 5-degree tilt from the ecliptic, which means
Well, that's
that
what you think.
okay.
That's what we can
Keep in
measure.
mind, the moon is at a 5-degree tilt from the ecliptic, which means that there are some months where it won't touch the other tropic.
It will touch the tropic every 14 days. It'll touch one or the other, then 14 days later, it'll touch the other. And then 14 days later, it'll be back over the other. It has a sublunar point where it's directly overhead. That's why I posted that little clip on Gary today, because the sublunar point right now is actually a little south of Capricorn.
Right.
And in
Look at
14
the
days,
moon.
it
That's
will
what you're
be
talking about, son.
probably a little north or directly overhead on Cancer, the sublunar point.
Right. And the fact that it's at a 5-degree tilt from the ecliptic causes it to sometimes not reach one of either tropic.
It's going to hit each one every 14 days.
So someone just pull up Stellarium to verify this. Be very simple to verify.
It is easy. You can verify it for yourself. Yeah, I'm asking you to. This is funny.
Gary, do you even look at Stellarium ever?
Just go to time and date. It's much easier. Go to day and night on time and date. It'll show you, because you scroll down, it'll give you the sublunar point. So you can just scroll forward it 14 days and it'll give you the next sublunar point 14 days later. And that should be either overhead on Cancer or maybe slightly north from today. Could be 15. I'm not sure if it's at its extreme southern point yet. It's close. So if you watch it rise tonight, it's way in the southern sky. That's why its analemma is the same as the sun. It's
Yeah. What's Stellarium and what's Stellarium and Sun Calc based on?
Why are you asking me?
Stellarium, SunCalc, timeanddate.com, Celestia, all of those are based on the globe model.
Yeah, but the circling sun will do the same. Somebody's just got to make a model for it. That's all. Does the same thing. You guys just turned a circle into a ball. That's all. The circle does the same thing.
No, it wouldn't have equinox like we have in reality if it was flat.
Yes, it will. Because your equinox is not the same day for everybody on Earth. It's not 90 and 270 for everybody on the same day.
Don't talk.
But Gary, how did you verify that both of them are the same thing?
Because it does the same
Like
thing.
how?
If you circle, if you do a spiraling circle, you can just draw it on paper. It's going to do the same thing. You could tell that if it's spiraling in towards Cancer, it's tightening its elliptical circuit because it's a spiral, which is gradually getting tighter each day. That makes it elliptical, which will make it rise as it's going towards Cancer. It will rise a little bit more north and set a little more north each day, a little higher in your sky as it goes across, just perfectly.
Can I say something?
I hear you.
Just like we see.
Go ahead.
I just want to say something. Easy to talk it, impossible to demonstrate it. Thank you.
No, it isn't.
Then do it. I'll be, you know.
Oh, I'm
it
not
would
the
be
one who's
great.
going to make the model. Somebody else will come up with it. I'm just giving the idea out there because it is what it is. It's what we see. I can predict. I can predict what the moon's going to do. I can see where it's going to move based on. If you know, part of what helps is if you sit in the same spot. If you have a spot you can go to and pay attention to where it rises and sets. If you're at a different place every day, looking from a different angle, you're going to get confused. But if you have a place you can sit, I have a good backyard where I can watch the moon rise, and so I can see when it's far south. I can see when it's far north. And I can see it moving back and forth every 14 days. It hits the far south, and it starts moving north. And then it hits the far north and starts moving south. On both horizons, it does that. And I also have a very good view from my first stop at work, because I have a wide open view of the western horizon where I can watch it set.
All right, can you make a physical model like that, Gary? Like a physical model?
Somebody else will. I'm not a computer expert. Somebody will do it.
Yeah, they have. They
Ideas
have.
out. Somebody.
But
no, because they never account for perspective compression. They call it curvature and refraction when it's actually
every time
compressed.
every time someone's tried to make a physical model of that, something happens.
Because they do it wrong, yes.
Okay, so you need to do it. Do it right. Do it correctly.
I don't have those skills on a computer. I don't have those skills. I openly admit it. I don't feel like messing with it, and even if I did, you guys would just
can't make
deny
claims
it.
about it.
So I'm not going to spend hours and hours and days on something you'll just wave your hand at and not even look at.
Right, Gary. Then you can't make claims about it. Then.
No, I can.
What do you think is gonna happen?
You can make claims about it if I want.
What, you can't make a model with the rubber
Sun
band?
that's actually spiraling, which is getting a tighter and tighter circle, is an elliptical orbit. You guys imitated the elliptical orbit by making an elliptical orbit around the sun instead. And you tilted your Earth and rotated it and moved your moon backwards compared to what we see in order to get the same effect.
By the way,
Gary, I need your model to do.
Let me say, just want to say something fast. I'm like Gary. I'm very a loser when it comes to 3D animation. I tried to learn this Blender. I failed, but I do it with physical models. I showed the path of the eclipse on a physical model, and I bring the angles of the sun from a physical model. So you can do a physical model, you can show it on a physical model. It doesn't have to be perfect, but even if it gives any kind of result.
Gary,
You're not going to do it on a physical model. You have to have that perspective angles on everything. Everything's perspective the way you see it. All angles to the sun are perspective based on your location and your elevation. You guys don't account for field of view compressed perspective based on your elevation. The lower you are, the more compressed it is. The higher you are, the farther out you see at center frame when you're looking out towards the horizon. And you guys instead called it curvature and refraction. Of course, you had to add the refraction because the curvature never matched. So you had to add a little extra refraction to try to get it to work. But the fact is, it's just compressed perspective. It's simple.
I don't.
And somebody will work this out and show
work
it
correctly. Why?
Okay, well, how does your model describe why the sun, the moon, and the sky
model, but
with the
it
moon
works with my
eclipsing?
model, and I bring perfect results. I don't use refraction. I ignore refraction. I get a slight error, but yes, don't use refraction and show me that you have less error than the ones that come from my model.
So you get error, right? You just admitted it. So somebody will figure out this perspective compression.
But I have the guts. I have the bravery to do a model. You don't do.
Band videos, which you guys hand wave, don't even really pay attention when you watch it. If you even watch the whole thing, I think you guys came and just put a dislike on it because you didn't want to actually examine what it's doing.
My model is 2 degrees, 3 degrees. The error in your model would be 30 and 50 degrees, and sometimes 90 degrees.
3 degrees is a lot. You know that, right?
Yeah, 90
3
degrees.
3 degrees movement of the sun is what, 6 days worth or 7 or 8 days worth of movement?
Show me your model with less than 3
a lot.
degrees.
That's a lot wrong. Sorry.
Show me your model with less than 3 degrees.
Somebody will. I'm not going to model it out. I'm just giving
No
the
one
ideas
will.
out there. Somebody
No
who
one
knows how to
can.
do all this stuff will. Eventually
The
they'll
flat
do
Earth
it.
was there
And they'll
for
actually
10
figure
years.
out this
No one
compressed
ever did it.
perspective, and they'll make a model to show it. And you
For
guys,
10
like I
years,
said, you guys hijacked
for
that
10
and
years,
turned it
no one.
into a curve instead because that's all you could do.
Oh,
And you
come
had to
on.
make things
Easy
backwards.
to
Like you had to get the
Never will be
sun
done.
or the moon to move backwards from west to east and tilt the earth and rotate it and incline your moon in order to get the same effect you just get with a circling moon that's spiraling inward and outward.
Nonsense.
No, it isn't nonsense. It's the same effect. You guys just created a model that would imitate reality, not actually be reality.
Yeah, you know,
Okay, I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna go take a shower. I'll hang in listening, but I'm gonna go take a shower.
Okay,
I'm hot.
You could be
it's
right.
97 degrees here,
This
and I had a
might
long
not be
morning.
the model. You could be right. There's a chance that this is not the model, but we extracted this information from our observation, and when we reverse it, we get the results. So, but is it the model? This is like
is not.
He's not decent at the moment.
Well, at least you stopped talking. That's a bonus.
I've been trying to look that up, and I can't find anywhere that says that the moon passes over the tropic of Capricorn and the tropic of Cancer every 14 days. That there's no mention of it. They keep referring to the sun. They do say that there's 3 full moons every season. That's every 3 months. But they don't say anything about it changing, the moon changing to being over Capricorn or Cancer every 14 days. I can't find it anywhere in any literature on the internet after Googling it for a while. So I don't believe he's correct. There would be something somewhere to say that that's the case. You know, I don't believe it.
No, it does. It does go beyond the Cancer and beyond the what's the other one? Cancer and the other one.
Capricorn, yeah. Capricorn and Cancer, yeah.
It goes to 28.5, something like that, and minus 28. I'm not sure what's the period between this one and this one. But yeah, because the Earth is tilted by 23 degrees. So if the moon is not, if the moon orbit is not tilted, then every quarter of a month it will make 90 degrees. So one time it will be on the equator, and then Cancer, then equator again, then the I don't know why I keep forgetting Capricorn.
Boom! I'm gonna be wrapping up the show. It's been 2 hours. It's been a fun show. A little shorter than usual. I want to thank everybody for coming in, checking in, hanging out. It was good. Fun. Thank you, everybody. Don't forget on YouTube and you guys on Discord to go back to the stream and leave a like if you haven't done so. Check on the links on how to support the channel and join Discord. I appreciate it, and hopefully we'll be here for Friday festivities. On Saturday, I'm gonna go do the volunteer thing on the food bank again. I might have a show in the afternoon, I might not, I'm not sure. But I'm gonna do that on Saturday. Recommendation, Farmers Boy, check on the movies page. Shoot today if you got time. Yeah. Watch the new movie and give me your thoughts. It's one of my favorites. Everything, everywhere, all at once. It's good.
Oh, is that?
Yeah, it's out.
Oh, hang on. Let me just.
It's out, man. Yeah, check it out.
It is. Oh, right. I'll just add that to my favourites.
Yeah. I mean, in comparison, Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, beautiful movie, excellent, awesome, because of Marvel and all the movies and all the shows and everything coming together. It was an experience. But for actual multiverse, if you want something with different realities and multiverse, this one is a lot better multiverse movie. It is.
Oh, it's her. It's Michelle Yeoh or whatever.
Really good movie.
Oh, good. Right.
Yeah.
At some point between now and the end of the weekend, I will make time to watch that.
Check it out, and you will enjoy it.
Thank you very much. I'm looking forward.
Weird and trippy. I recommend it to everybody. Watch it good to him. sci-fi multiversal movie, everything everywhere all at once. It's funny, man.
I like the sound.
All right, guys, thank you very much. Let's do some final thoughts. Blue Marble, let's get out of here. Final thoughts.
That's a good idea, Jose. And I don't have a lot of thoughts, but thanks for doing a stream, buddy. I caught the last part of it, and it was fun as always. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow, and thank you very much. I'll share with you. There's a on Farmers we also have it. I got a web page that I check out movies on and TV shows and stuff. I don't know if you're interested, Blue, but I'll send you a link and you can check out the movies and TV shows and stuff like that, like the new stuff.
Yeah, okay, I would appreciate that, Jose.
Yeah. And then it's very self-explanatory. You got the HD in the corner. HD means for perfect quality, and if you got the cam in the corner, that's not worth it to see it until it's HD quality, But yeah.
But of course, the big thing is it's free.
Yeah, it's free. Yeah, don't be afraid. You're gonna have one or two quick pop-ups. Pop, close the window. Pop again, close the window, and you're all in, man. It's smooth. It's good, man.
Yeah.
Shaik, final thoughts.
Yeah, Gary was saved with the skin of his teeth here, because all I want from his model is one thing. During equinox, see the sun rise at the east and set at the west. That's all his model needs to do. Forget about refraction and all this bullshit. Good show. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I retitled the show. It is Thursday Festivities. Gary, Flip Flop, Mr. 42, Overhead versus Over My Head, and more. Just so it's easy to find. That was kind of the heart of the show too. Crow XE, final thoughts.
Yeah, I missed the show. It's been long, and I would like to make some kind of presentation or just to take the floor with you, talk for a bit, maybe in an oncoming show, just to make a preparation for my presentation in the future that I might have.
That sounds perfect to me, man. Whenever you want, brother. Whenever you want, let me know whenever I'm live in the top of one of these shows. We will be there. Let's go to shout out to Discord user. Thank you. Doofus Manfred, final thoughts.
Well, nothing really seems to change in Flat Earth. There are new discussions that are occurring. Generally are the discussions that already occurred 4 or 5 years ago, or even more recently, like gas pressure without a container. Content just keeps flowing out. Keep it simple. I mean, we can see things get obstructed by the surface in the distance, especially under consistent conditions. If the conditions are consistent on almost every single day, and we see that happen, the only explanation is the Earth is in the way. That's it.
Thank you very, very much. Shout out to Tweet. This is for you. Headphones warning. That was for you, Tweet. Earth is being populated by frogs. Mabbit. His voice is changing now. Baby frog. Earth is life. Final thoughts. Farmer's Boy. Final thoughts.
Well, I have to say that Squeaky Earth sounds amazing in these new headphones. That was absolutely spot on. Okay, so what have I learnt tonight? Gary's right. We're wrong. The English language is wrong. So there you go. You unlearn something every day. And I just love the music in the background. That's superb. Absolute top shot that. So yes, thank you very much. It's been a fun one today.
Thank you very much. Good stuff. And that is a great idea to get a little bit of the music in the background, very low. It wouldn't affect our speaking, so it's just kind of instrumental music. I appreciate it, man.
No, that's a good idea. I think you should carry that on.
Yeah, I will definitely. Gary Waibenga, final thoughts. Let's go with Huge Janus. Final thoughts.
I missed most of it, but thank you for the forum. Jose, I'll be in here to chat if anyone wants to a little bit afterwards. When are you next on, by the way?
When is my next what?
Next live stream?
Tomorrow.
Fantastic. Yeah, I'll probably be in more a bit then. So again, thank you for the forum. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for everybody watching. You guys can join the Daily Boom Discord server. Usually the people over here in the show, they stay in the after show for a little bit if there's a conversation going. So if you want to do that, jump into the voice chat and carry on with the discussion anytime you want. And for those for those who didn't give me any money, I got 2 super chats today. Shout out to that. But if anybody want to support me when I'm offline, there's a super thanks sticker in super thanks thing under the videos, or there's a PayPal link in the description box. Look me up and help out, help a brother out, and support the channel. Keep it alive. J Mac, final thoughts.
Thank you, Jose. I didn't catch much of the show, but I thought the soundtrack worked great. I think every flat earther should have their own soundtrack. It would make it a lot funnier. Thanks, Jose. Catch you tomorrow.
Boom. Thank you very much. A long time ago in my previous channel, one show, I think I had the beat, the Spanish beat, like salsa music in the background, low in the background. And it was good. I just didn't carry on with it. But different genres, every day. Now, there's certain days that I'm going to save this page. I'm going to make a playlist for a private for different genres and songs that I can just get it on the loop and perfect background music for the shows like this one. Mr. 42, final thoughts?
What's up? Hey, thanks for the laughter. It was a great show. We all now know that definitions are optional, dictionaries are obsolete, and we'll just see where we go on from there.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for coming. Appreciate it. Terse, final thoughts?
Yeah, my final thoughts are why when you hear flat earthers talk about people gathering at their conventions, they say people have gathered at the convention to talk about the flat earth from all over the globe.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Before Stingray came in late, final thoughts. This is perspective. See, right here. Look, I can eclipse these 2 objects, but this one, by coincidence or by coincidence or smart way that I'm setting this up, 2 objects look like they are the same size, but actually is this big. Looks a lot like the sun and the moon when we see them in the sky. One is really big, one is really small, but when one is exactly further away, they both look like they kind of eclipse each other, right? Boom! And the Stingray, if it's noon for me and I'm pointing up to the sun rose over here. We got a sunrise. I'm pointing at the sun path. It's noon. And it's late afternoon and the sun reaches that point, I know that it will continue to go if I can magically see through the earth, and there's going to be a point in midnight that I'm going to be pointing straight down to the sun, and I will carry on, and then boop, it's going to pop back up from where the sunrise and sunset. It makes perfect sense. I don't think that it will work if the earth is not a sphere or a globe, because when we get the sunrise, the sun will never go below that point of the horizon. So we're going to have noon, and then when the sun is going to rise, I'm going to keep pointing that way, slightly above the horizon. Where will the sun go? Will the sun follow this path slightly above the horizon until it reaches this point that we get the sunrise again? Or when we reach the sunset slightly above the horizon, are we going to follow this path slightly above the horizon until we reach this point? Well, the sun is going to rise again. That is a question for everybody to consider. Stingray, if you got some final thoughts for us, take it away.
Yeah, I think your example there sums it right up. On a flat earth, that takes a 90-degree bend and then goes like a split shit for half the day in a completely different direction, which, you know, for the people that are experiencing daylight when you're experiencing nighttime, I seriously think they're going to be hurt at the speed that thing's going and the way that it's waving around through the sky. But yeah, again, I just like Gary and his... I like all flat earthers, actually, their inability to understand kind of like really child-level concepts. If you think all of their arguments are in direct conflict with things that I'm pretty sure some of them are taught at kindergarten. That's where you start learning them. And they're the concepts that these flat earthers can intellectually kind of try and challenge. But the problem is they don't challenge them in any credible way. So well done to Flat Earth. Cheers, Jose.
Thank you very much, everybody. After I say my last boom, don't speak for the next 5 seconds so we can round up the show very well, and then the floor is all yours. Ladies and gentlemen, everybody on YouTube land, thank you very much. This has been Jose JG Gonzalez.